Okay, let's go to the best ways to communicate change to employees. Okay, so in Larkin's excellent book, Communicating Change in 1994, quote unquote, the authors referred to three facts now regarding the best ways to communicate change to employees. The first one is communicate directly to supervisors, or the first line, as what I have mentioned a while ago. No, the first line, supervisors plays a vital role, no, in communicating the directives that is meant to change, no, the I mean that carries the message of change for total quality management. Use face-to-face communication. And the last one is communicate relative performance of the local area. Sumuna siya ang tulo ka facts, no? Regarding the best ways to communicate change to employees according to Larkins. Now, the language used at the coal face will need attention in many organizations. Reducing the complexity and jargon in written and spoken communications will facilitate comprehension. Okay, so if you notice, no, even in your essays, I don't want you to use so much of a technical terms, a jargon, complex, no, complex statements that which you just goggled on, no. Bati, di naho masabtan if you truly understand, no, the question or what I am asking for in a question. So that's why I will always ask you to use or explain in your own words. So even in organizations, no, if we are aiming for total quality management and there is particular change that is needed, excuse me, complexity and jargon in written and spoken communications should be eradicated. No? Because it will never facilitate comprehension. No? The staffs or the members of the organization will not actually understand, no, the message you are trying to put across, because you are speaking or you are writing in a complex or jargon message. So, kana pa lang inyuhang essay, that is already a practice, no, how you can write or speak clearly, concisely, specific, and direct. Muna, you don't need to actually have those flowery things, no? No, flower pakalhag words, imo pang palapalahan or whatever it is. You just need to be direct and concise, no, for the members of the organization to truly understand what do you want, no? So for them to understand what the organizations need or what the organization need in terms of commitment, in terms of kanang performance gikan nila. So mo na siya, okay? When written business communications cannot be read or understood easily, they receive only cursory glances rather than the detailed study they require. Okay? Na even sa kanang mga modules ninyo, course lesson, no? If they are written in a format, no, that students could not understand easily, of course, injo na nang scan, pero lahat na po na enjoy. Kaya bisag, no matter how simple English, no, the teachers will be using, or simple sentence construction, di, good mo mabasa. Di man should mabasa unless I will require oral recitation or oral quiz na paiuban nga mag-oral quiz na or mag-oral reset, mapay ibasa. I mean, hello, the level of comprehension, kung right on the spot ka mo basa, no? So, it will not give you, no, the grasping of what is really, no, what is really meant. I mean, what is really the meaning of the message. So, mana siya, no? So, ikaw, when you become, or kamo, when you become manager someday, you need to simplify and shorten your messages in order for your workforce or your employees or the members of the organization, however you are going to term them, will understand easily. So, ila ang tagaan og time for detailed study or perusal. Kay kung di gani o ang imo ganing gamiton is complex and jargon, again, igo na nila tan-awon. Again, simplicity and shortened or simplify and shorten must be the guiding principles in communicating to your employees. Okay? We have here a communication model now illustrated. Okay? So, I think all of you has been familiar with this communication model in your subject or asa na nga subject ninyo or asa ni nga subject na discuss, but this is not new to you. No? Dili na niya bag-o ninyo kaning communication model. Again, in communicating, there are two parties involved, the sender and the receiver. Okay? So, during the process of communication, there's always this distraction that lays in between the sender and the receiver. Now, on the part of the sender, we have these distractions identified. One is attitude towards the information. Okay, so when you are skeptic on the information, you don't like the information being delivered, di gid nimo i-absorb fully. No, medyo ka, I don't want to hear that. I mean, I don't want to hear that news. I don't want to hear that statement. Because you have this particular attitude toward the information. Vocabulary. Someone is sending me a message and I don't understand the terms that is being used. Sabihin ko, kakapoy, masabtan. Example, and yung mga answers, no, sa essay. Inigbasa na, oh my God. Sana, vocabulary. You are, meaning to say, why vocabulary si ma'am? Wa na swak, wa na sod sa vocabulary ni ma'am. Ang inyong mga term, ang inyong mga explanation, nga gigamit sa inyong essay. Kaya wa ko nakasabot. Tao joke. Okay, the tone. No? How is the message being delivered? Inisog ba? Friendly ba? So, it would matter, actually, no? Between the sender and the receiver. Okay, the pace, kay paspason, kay nayon, gisapot na ba ang sender, ang receiver kay, ang sender, murag, nagstorya, murag, kamatayon, ingani ang pace. Ingon si Sir Willie nga kids, di kasapoton mamate. Lami dakdakan, nalabad si ang dugayon mo magstorya. Time pressure. Kano saan mo nadawat ang message? O kano saan mo gisend ang message? Sender mo data, sorry. Kano saan mo gisend ang message? No, is it too late? Is it too advanced? Is it not on a timely manner? So it would matter. Stress level. Stress ba kapag send nimo sa message? Mo nang ang tone is not that very nice. Okay, body language. No? Basta ng receiver, di ganahan sa body language siya, sender. Ang sender, di ganahan sa siyang body language, but the receiver hates the body language. And of course, the attitude towards the receiver. Me, for example, I am sending a message over someone that I don't like. So, of course, the attitude is different when I am sending a particular message to the person that I like. So same with the receiver, we also have this attitude information, the vocabulary, the time pressure, stress level, body language, and the attitude towards the sender. And these are what we call distractions that might hamper the full understanding of a message being carried across. Okay? So, mana siya. No? Now, this communication model illustrated here indicates the full potential for problems through environmental distraction. Kaning atong gitawag og environmental distractions na lagi sila kaning mga these things. This is what we call the environmental distractions. Now, this indicates na this communication model indicates the potential for problems. This distraction could create problems, di ba? It could also create mismatch between the sender and the receiver. No? Kaning mga particular distraction can create mismatch in the level of understanding. Or, more correctly, in terms of attitude towards information and each other, no? So, usa na sa mga mo play rules during the communication process. All levels of management should introduce and stress open methods of communication. When we say open methods, kana bang like open offices, it is accessible to staff or employees, no? Kanang murag employees or staff do not have this particular feeling of discrimination. No, not discrimination, kanang intimidation. No, every time they enter an office of a particular supervisor or manager. So dapat na kay organizations should to facilitate good communication or clear communication flow, no, organizations should also look at this particular infrastructure. No, are the offices has this particular aura of intimidation? Kay basin og na ay mga questions and clarifications nga gusto sa mga staff nga ask out unta sa mga managers or supervisors, but they are intimidated with the office setup, no? Usa na sa mo play part. Kung mo makain ka nga, mukwenta pa ay na, ma'am? Yes. No? There are persons or people, no, that do not say things that is meant to say because they are intimidated. So, usa na sa tan-awon dapat sa organization, no? Maintaining open offices, being accessible to staff or employees, and taking part in day-to-day interactions and the detailed process. No, now, gone are the days, no, nga style wherein the supervisor or manager, management is aloof. Meaning to say, dili siya makikhalubilo, no? The managers or supervisors do not take part in day-to-day interactions. And based on research, it would be much effective if management or the managers, line supervisors should take part in day-to-day interaction with the staff or members of the organization, no? Because this will lay the foundation for improved interaction between the staff and employees and even the manager. Because that is what we are trying to achieve, no? Good communication within the entire organization. So kung ang manager mismo arte, di mag apil-apil diha, di mag-apil-apil sa day-to-day interaction of the members of the organization, how can we aim for clear communication? So, wa na'y panahon ron. Kung sa unang panahon, ingana, kanamurag, snub, no, ang managers kay manager lagi. It will not work, no, as the um why environment evolves. It calls for, no, managers taking part in day-to-day interaction to truly understand the other members of the organization. Okay? Now, this interaction between staff, employees, and managers is essential, no, for information flow and process improvement. So, very necessary siya, no, for informations to flow. And of course, when there is a flow of information, no, they would be aware what's going on. They would be aware what is needed to be done. So they will be able to identify the process in order to improve what is going on if it's a problem, no? Or improve further what is going on if it is not a problem but there is room for improvement. Okay? So mao na siya. Opening these lines of communication may lead to confrontation with many barriers and much resistance. Naamang gud ni. Di man gud na mawala ng barrier and resistance because there are people, no, who are skeptic, no, when it came to changes. Kay ingon palagi sila, change is a painful process. No? But of course, with kanang constant reassurance that everything will be okay, no, with the constant information flow now of what is going on, now the staff or the members of the organizations who are adamant or who are who have this mindset of I will not submit myself to change kay naanad na ko nga ing-ani ang organization. They will eventually understand. It's just a matter of how you communicate, no, the need to change for total quality management, no? So supervisors management should be geared to helping people accept responsibility for their own behavior, which often creates the barriers, and for breaking the barriers down by concentrating in the process rather than in departmental needs. So, muna siya. Okay? Okay, so improve change management and employees' performance. Okay, so the resistance to change will always occur and is to be expected. Naamang yun na. No? As I have said, change is a painful process. Now, everyone who are kanang used to this particular setup, no, unya mo kuan ka og change, there would always be a resistance. Mo resist gayud na sila ka, that is new to them and this is what they are used to. So mo nang there would always be a resistance and it should be expected. Again, first line management should be trained to help people deal with it because first line supervisors are the one exposed to the staff and other members of the organization. They should be trained to help people deal with it instead of hating it. Ayaw tagayo first line supervisor ang mga staff and employees nga maldita raw sad kaayo. Nga if there is a resistance occurring na ija na hinong samutan. So you need to train your first line management because they are the one to discuss it with the staff and employees. Now, this requires an understanding of the dynamics of change and the support necessary, of course. Not an obsession with forcing people to change. You cannot force people to change. Not at all. No? Di gajud na nimo mapugos ang tao nga magbag-o. No? So, by opening up lines of communication through previously closed system and publicizing people's efforts to change, and the results will aid the process. So, you cannot as I have said, you cannot force some people to change, but you can open up lines of communication for them to understand why there is a need to change. No? So, mo na siya. Change can be, even should be, exciting if employees start to share their development and growth. No? So, kung ang staff or the employees starts to share their development and growth, no? Change can be exciting. So, usa jud sa mga ways is to make them understand why there is a necessity for change. No? Management needs to encourage and participate in this by creating the most appropriate communication system. No? According to Dr. Labastida in his dissertation about change and change management, in order to improve change management and employees' performance, of course, first you need proper preparation and advanced planning is a must. Of course, dili na in sara kanang right on kanang murag pinakalit, no? It should take advanced planning and proper preparation. No? Another is a program in to assist employees handle pressure on intended change must be in place. So dapat na kay program no to assist the employees know how to handle pressure. No? By the time that change must take place. Okay, so dapat na pod siya. Another is looking after the welfare of employees to develop a strong character is needed with the change. Another is exercise good leadership. Of course, this is very necessary. Communicating to employees what exactly are happening at all times during the change process count much no. So again, communication plays a vital role, no? When we are trying to change for the better. Okay. Another, improve change management employees' performance, no? Taking into consideration with his findings, the author concludes, I'm referring to Dr. Labastida, concludes that strong relationships in organization can be established by promoting high-level communication, leadership, procedural justice, tolerance to change, and employees' development. These 5 areas of level of manifestation of change created and supported employees' high performance in the event that change management is implemented in the workplace. Okay, so according to Dr. Wheeler, management must assure that the change approach is in line with the business culture. Kalisod po no, mag-utro tas inter-organization but it is not in line with the business culture. No, kung sa una, it is a culture of the business nga magbeso-beso or there is a culture of honesty or understanding, mag-change ka into dili in line with the business culture. Makulbaan ta. Diba? The change needed must meet the scope of skills and abilities of the existing workforce and expose employees to further training and development. Okay, that is necessary. And then employees' negative perception to change decrease now their commitment due to less understanding of the change and change management. So, all in all, the bottom line is that kinahanglan jud nimong pasabton. Why is there a change necessary for total quality management? Or else, mo fail na ang imong aim for or objective for total quality management if the members of the organization or the employees do not understand what is going on or why is there a need to change the organization. Okay, the practicalities of sharing knowledge and learning. Now, practical sharing of knowledge and learning is often achieved in large organizations through intranet and or common network mounted file servers. Now, these can provide common access to online reports, training materials, and performance figures versus targets. The key is to provide appropriate access for both internal and external users to relevant information with assurance required of its validity, integrity, and security. Okay? So, Usana, how are you going to share knowledge and learning in terms, especially in large organizations? So, they use the internet or intranet and or common network mounted file servers in which other members of the organization can access no, sige nga, ayan na, information. No? Cultivating, developing, and protecting intellectual property can be the key in many sectors to maximizing customer value. For example, in professional services such as legal and consultancy, firms in this sector can survive only if they are constantly seeking to acquire, increase, use, and transfer knowledge effectively. This in turn has strong links, no, with learning and innovation. The proper use and management of relevant information and knowledge resources leads to the generation of creative thinking and innovative solutions.